Adam Longo has been pressing government leaders for answers since this crisis began. Adam?
All right, so Bruce, here's who I've talked to first over the past few days. IRS workers in our area, in Austin, Texas, in suburban Atlanta, Georgia, in Brookhaven, New York. Also, the union president who represents those employees and 150,000 federal workers. Let me be as blunt as possible. IRS workers are at risk. They spent today working in buildings with thousands of other people and handling mail from the general public. Now, an infectious disease specialist told me a few days ago that coronavirus can live on paper from 3 to 9 days. I got this video from an IRS worker in Georgia who wants to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. And look, it's business as usual there. I'm being told there's an absence of leadership and a complete lack of guidance within the IRS offices, and very few, if any, preventative measures are being taken. Now, the tax filing deadline for Americans is April 15th, so just about a month away. There's a big push right now to get the tax filing deadline moved to October 15th. Remember, if you request an extension to file your taxes, they'll give you 6 months until October 15th. So far, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has only said if you owe taxes, they're going to give you a 3-month extension on paying. The union president says people coming into work will not help flatten the curve.
The government's not doing that by requiring these employees to go to workplaces where there are more than 50 people. They have got to change course on this because it is wrong to do to these people, to do to their families and their loved ones. Where those individuals are having to work in, whether it's in call sites or in service centers where there are large numbers of people, and in some cases thousands of people, obviously they are at risk.
Reardon tells me the union has a movement. It's up on Facebook right now. I shared it on my Facebook page, Adam Longo TV, to force federal buildings hosting more than 50 workers to close down. And listen, Reardon and the NTEU, not the only ones calling for the tax filing deadline to be delayed 6 months. The House Ways and Means Committee, they want to hear from the IRS commissioner. The American Institute of CPAs wants answers as well. And the National Society of Accountants wants the tax filing season extended. Things are changing day to day, Bruce. We're going to see if the folks at the top are listening.
Yeah, this goes back, though, to what you've already reported. They've left it up to the agencies to decide as opposed to an order from up top, right?
Well, as far as the guidance goes from the IRS right now, they have to keep those people in the offices if the tax filing deadline remains the same. Unless they change it, no way for those workers to sort through those returns at home. They're going to have to continue coming into the office. That's not going to help solve the coronavirus crisis.
All right.
Let's be real for a minute about your ability to inspire our kids. So we just heard the story about 2 teachers who had a tremendous impact on the direction of each other's lives. I'm going to run with that in my final thought. So here's the thing. I've argued my whole life that teacher should be among the top paying positions in our society. They should be the ones getting that fat 5-year, $50 million contract, right? Nothing against pro athletes, but who's more valuable? The people who entertain us or the people who teach us? Right now, the average teacher salary in Virginia is just over $40,000. In Maryland, it's just over $45,000. In D.C., it's just over $55,000. Now, if we're not willing as a country to give teachers what they're really worth, how about stepping up yourself to help out kids who are eager for knowledge and inspiration, even though they might not know it? Now, I'm lucky enough that my schedule gives me the ability to pop in at my daughter's school. Sometimes I volunteer and help out at lunch and recess so the teachers can get a break. It's a zoo. Right? But all the kids are bright and curious. They want to know more about the world. They want to know more about my job as a TV reporter. Don't ever underestimate the impact a well-timed conversation can have on steering a young person's future. If you can, find a way to get involved with a local school. You've got a valuable insight, things worth sharing. The kids need you. The teachers need you. It could be one of the most impactful things you ever do. Now to my final thought. Journalism lost one of its giants today, a towering figure of civility and objectivity in an era where both are in a dangerous decline. Jim Lehrer died today here in D.C. at 85 years old. You know him, you've seen him. He spent 36 years as anchor of PBS's NewsHour. He moderated 12 U.S. presidential debates, more than anyone else in history. He authored plays, memoirs, and 20 novels, including A Bus of My Own, the first news anchor retrospective I ever read back in high school. Lehrer retired from PBS in 2011, and his exit metaphorically paralleled the slow and painful egress of objectivity from the news programs you watch every day. The rise of the Maddow's and Hannity's have sidelined the Cronkites and Murrows. They're still there, but commentary and critique is what's popular, and fair reporting is often passed off as fake news if the facts hurt someone whose politics you agree with. No, Lehrer wasn't as popular as his peers, Brokaw, Jennings, and Rather, but he brought unquestioned neutrality and an in-depth style of reporting that made you smarter and let you draw your own conclusions. If someone wants to be entertained, they ought to go to the circus, Lehrer said after critics complained he didn't go hard enough during one of the 1988 presidential debates. News shouldn't be a circus. Thank you, Jim Lehrer, for reminding us of that. Rest in peace. For Bruce Johnson, Mike Wise, Adion Dateline, and Top Rashad, I'm Adam Longo. Thanks for joining us here tonight on the Q&A. You can send us your questions anytime at the Q&A at WUSA9.com.